On today's episode of BlazeList TV, we gathered 5 talented individuals who will be discussing their opinions about accomplishments in Singapore and how our society views them. Now, please introduce yourselves, starting with Eddie.
Oh, hey guys, my name's Advaitha. I'm 17 years old. I'm representing the music cluster here, and my escape-related accomplishment is winning the New Kids on the Block Award at the Youth Music Awards in 2020.
Hi everyone, my name is Aina. I'm currently 19 years old this year and I'm a final year film student. So I'll be representing the media cluster for today's episode, and recently my film Pusaka was nominated for this year NIFA's competition organized by Skate.
My name is Josh and I'm 30 this year. The cluster that I represent Skate on is the dance cluster, and in terms of my skate related accomplishments, that would be being a speaker and a mentor at Walk the Talk 2019.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm Emile and I'm the founder of the Posture Lab, and I'm representing the entrepreneurship cluster.
Hi everybody, my name is Stephanie. I'm 29 this year, so I'm actually part of the esports programming team at Skate.
So today, we asked our participants to either agree, disagree, or have a neutral opinion on these statements. The bigger accomplishment, the more successful you'll be. So it is difficult to talk about the accomplishments in my field during family occasions. Recognition through awards is more important than recognition among peers. So the first statement is, the bigger accomplishment, the more successful you'll be. Alright, oh my goodness. Across the line, we have 1:4 ratio. Let's start with Josh on your neutral answer.
The way I see it is that accomplishments are what you define them to be. Accomplishments in the Asian sense, it's always about something that's material. It's a certificate that you hold, it's a number, it's a salary figure, it could be a prize, a medal, etc. But I think we should step back and look at accomplishments in a different way. I personally look at accomplishments in terms of the intangible factors, the ability to be able to learn, the ability to be able to be earnest and truthful and sincere. Those, I think, are what I consider my accomplishments as well.
So I said disagree because being successful is also kind of being happy with the place that I'm at, both with my music and my life as well. And sometimes accomplishments could be tremendous, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be successful. There's so many artists that have won Grammys, which is one of the biggest accomplishments you can have as a musician, but then they completely fall off the next year. Nobody hears from them ever again, and they're seen as unsuccessful.
Let's say you win a very huge tournament and you might think that that's enough for you, and then you can just stop there. Actually, a lot of professional esports teams who kind of drop off after 1 or 2 seasons of World Championship, and then they just fall off from the face of the earth and never be heard again.
I relate closely to what Eddie said. Like what she has mentioned, there are always these filmmakers who won an award for at least one time, but then you don't hear from them or you don't see any upcoming movies from them for a few years. For me, as a filmmaker, it really scares me. I don't want to be those sort of one hit wonder where I create a film, then after that I just disappear and do something else.
I feel I have accomplished quite a lot, right, up till now. In terms of success, I still don't see it at the moment. To others on the outside, you might see a nice glitzy studio which is built up nicely, looks awesome. Behind it, actually, there's a struggle of an entrepreneur that is actually thinking about ways and means so that I can make sure I survive for the next 5 years, or at least have a legacy that I can build, right? So that to me is success.
Alright, let's move on to the second statement. You ready? Cool. Alright. So it is difficult to talk about the accomplishments in my field during family occasions. Give me a second. Oh, okay. Nice. That's nice. Alright, so let's talk about the one and only neutral stand.
Alright. Okay, so coming from a Chinese Indian family, right? I'm mixed, right? Both sides. Okay, so both sides of the coin. For Chinese New Year, when you go to let's say the reunion and all that, and then you see your family members, the first thing they'll ask you is the typical question is how's your business doing? Are you getting married? What's all these questions, right? You're gonna be judged, and you're gonna be judged really hard. Right? So for me, it's in that perspective, I feel it's very hard to talk about it, because even if I've accomplished it, right, to you it might look as a minuscule success lah.
The main reason I put disagree is because from my personal perspective, I think I'm extremely privileged with the family and friends that I'm surrounded by, because my parents, my brother, and then also my extended family, my grandparents, uncles, aunts, music is a huge thing that kind of connects us all. I think I'm so incredibly privileged to be in a family who supports support my music journey. I feel like, all of them are like my biggest fans, my biggest supporters. Sometimes I'll have like a small accomplishment and my parents will be so much more excited about it than I am because they're like, oh, our little girl's like, she's making her dreams come true, all that kind of stuff.
When I started street dancing, there was once where we went for a performance and it overran, right? And this was quite far away. I was still in school. We had to take public transport, and because it ended at about 11:30 or 12 a.m. So when I got back home, it was 1 a.m. Basically, my parents locked me out of my house. And when I tried to climb over the gate, they said, you're trespassing. We're going to call the police. And this was very early on. I'm still very glad through my whole journey of 12 or 13 years, things have changed. They are quietly supportive and they recognize that I'm willing to struggle and be disciplined and determined and tenacious in finding that balance.
Good points, everyone. So let's move on to the next statement. Recognition through awards is more important than recognition among peers.
I feel like recognition through awards comes from people from outside who sees my film for the first time. Like I get a recognition through an award, it sort of solidifies my skills and like quality of work in a more of a professional way. Also like having like your friends like to say your film is good is also like a way to like motivate you and also like to support you. I mean like maybe your friends like maybe know more or maybe see in a different light.
For me, after 3 years, I've not gotten a single award at all, like not one at all. And the thing is, I'm not begging for award because I don't have to. I mean, it's showing in our skills, in our results, in our clients that are giving us their reviews. It's like, that is good enough for us.
A gaming organization will probably look at your skill first because game requires a lot of skills. But for the esports peripherals, like let's say events management, shoutcasting, I think it's better that these people have recognition among their peers.
Awards are still something that are super huge achievement, obviously, but it's not required for an artist to be successful. Taking one of the most famous artists that we have in the scene right now, Billie Eilish. She's only a year older than me. To have an 18-year-old artist dominating the music industry has not really been heard before. In the music industry, it's kind of different. If my friend, for example, showed me a song they really liked, and I want to know more about the artist, I'll go maybe onto their Spotify page and I'll see how many streams they're getting. And if I can see that, oh my gosh, the song has like 2 million streams, I know that the award didn't give them those streams, it's word of mouth. It's recognition from people around them, recognition from humans in general that has given them this success and this popularity.
So there are two kinds of friends as well. There are the friends that support you but don't really know, and they are professional peers who are able to give you that kind of recognition. And if you get the recognition from them, you feel like, oh, okay, yes, I have achieved something. I think ultimately it boils down to this. What do you want this recognition, whether it is the form of an award or whether it's the form of recognition from friends, for? I mean, there could be many reasons. Do you want it for a confidence boost, which is sometimes very important, or maybe slightly less beneficent, right? You want it simply for an ego boost. I'm not judging, but it's possible. Or you want it as proof that you've made it somewhere. You've made it a proof point in your life and you really want to achieve it.
I have friends who know a lot about music. They themselves are musicians, but then I also have friends who can't sing even if their life depended on it. That's the thing about the music industry, is that I am not just trying to get the music critiques to say she has a good voice, this is a good song. You want the general common man to listen to your song and say, I like this song. Because majority of the people in this world are going to be the common man. There's not that many music critiques who are going to be analyzing your vocal riffs and your pop song that you're making,
So that's it for all the statements. Thank you so much, guys. So now, what have you all learned from this discussion today?
I'm just very glad to be part of this discussion. I think having the opportunity to talk about the very controversial or slightly deeper topic, I think this was a great lesson as well for myself, to hear from others as well, and in terms of the point of views that were given.
Thank you, Emile. What about you, Ayin?
Through this discussion, I really see everyone's point of view and where they're coming from. These are the points that they made, and then you shouldn't stay away from them. It's just more of you understand where they're coming from, and then take it as a lesson to you, and how will you take those points that they were made.
I guess one of my biggest takeaways from this whole discussion is that everything is a lot more complicated or complex than what we imagine. It's so important that we recognize that there's so many different elements to it. It's an effort that every single person needs to put in. It can't be just 5 people putting an effort to make a change, because that's not how change works.
My main takeaway is that we need more of these conversations face to face to tease out these stories and to tease out the thinking behind them. And that's something that we don't often have in the world of social media, in the world of Google?
One takeaway is probably I learned to value more of my accomplishments. Yeah, I want to just learn and value that part from today. Yay.